What if the most feared woman in the book of Revelation is not a figure of the past, but still walks among us today? Referred to as the Mother of Prostitutes and abominations of the earth, she is described riding a scarlet beast, dressed in purple and gold, drunk with the blood of saints. But who or what is she? Some say she was Rome, others the Vatican. Some even claim she is alive in modern cities like New York, or hidden within powerful institutions we dare not name. Her identity has been debated, feared, and censored for nearly 2,000 years. In this video, we will trace the origin, evolution, and prophetic meaning of the Whore of Babylon, from the 1st century to today. If you're drawn to forbidden truths buried in biblical prophecy, subscribe and join us as we uncover what others refuse to talk about. We begin by diving directly into the book of Revelation, specifically chapters 17 and 18, where this infamous figure is introduced. The great prostitute is described as sitting upon many waters, symbolizing dominion over peoples and nations. She rides a beast with 7 heads and 10 horns, wears purple and scarlet, and holds a golden cup filled with abominations and the filth of her adulteries. Her name is a mystery, literally, written on her forehead. Babylon the Great, the mother of prostitutes and of the abominations of the earth. We highlight how she is simultaneously seductive and horrifying. She is arrayed in wealth and religious symbolism, yet she is drunk with the blood of saints and martyrs. This paradox, beauty mixed with violence, religion fused with corruption, is essential to understanding her identity. At this point, the video guides a viewer to recognize the literary and symbolic depth of the figure. Babylon is not just a city. It is a system, a worldview, a force that corrupts faith, power, and morality alike. We also introduce the idea that Babylon is meant to be timeless, an archetype rather than a specific person. And yet, throughout history, people have tried to tie her to specific real-world entities, and they still do today. In the earliest centuries of Christianity, believers facing persecution under the Roman Empire saw a direct parallel between the great prostitute of Revelation and the city of Rome. Revelation itself describes Babylon as a city seated on 7 hills, a clear reference to the geography of Rome. We explore how early church fathers such as Tertullian and Irenaeus interpreted the Whore of Babylon as symbolic of imperial Rome's decadence, persecution, and paganism. Rome wasn't just a political power, it was a spiritual threat. The imagery of wealth, sexual immorality, and martyrdom in Revelation resonated with Christians who saw their faith criminalized. Babylon became a code word, a way to critique the empire without naming it outright. The video uses historical context, maps, and Roman iconography to illustrate how this interpretation was not only logical for early Christians, but emotionally charged. For them, Babylon was not theoretical. It was a very real empire spilling Christian blood in arenas and prisons. We close the chapter by questioning, was Babylon fully embodied in Rome, or was Rome just its first face in a long series of historical masks? As we move into the Middle Ages, the identity of Babylon shifts dramatically. No longer seen as Rome the Empire, many began to interpret the Whore of Babylon as Rome the Church. This was especially true during the Protestant Reformation. Reformers like Martin Luther and John Calvin saw the Catholic Church, with its opulence, its indulgences, and its centralized power, as the perfect image of the corrupted woman of Revelation. The scarlet robes of the prostitute now mirror the garments of the cardinals. The golden cup became a symbol of religious hypocrisy, appearing holy while being spiritually polluted. This chapter explores how Babylon was weaponized as a theological critique. Pamphlets, woodcuts, and sermons from the 16th and 17th centuries used Revelation's imagery to attack the Vatican. Babylon was no longer an ancient memory. It was now a religious adversary in plain sight. For those who broke from the church, calling it Babylon was more than rhetoric. It was a declaration of spiritual war. And yet, history was not done with her transformations. In the modern era, interpretations of Babylon have become increasingly global and controversial. The Whore of Babylon is no longer confined to ancient empires or medieval institutions. She is now seen in economic systems, superpowers, and even entire cities. Some point to New York City, financial capital of the world, symbol of luxury and excess, as the new Babylon. The United Nations headquarters, Wall Street, mass media, and consumer culture all feed the narrative of a city that sits on many waters and influences nations. Others suggest Mecca or the oil empires of the Middle East, citing religious influence, wealth, and geopolitical control. Still others view Babylon as a coded reference to a system, globalism, the technocratic elite, secret societies that shape our world from behind the curtain. This chapter leans into the power of prophecy, interpretation, and conspiracy. We explore how 9/11, the rise of surveillance, and the concentration of wealth and power have all fueled a renewed obsession with the identity of Babylon. Could Babylon be a city, a religion, a government, or something more elusive, a symbol that changes shape with every generation? Perhaps the most unsettling question isn't who she is, but whether we've already accepted her without realizing it. 5. A symbology turned to Babylonia. Across centuries, the identity of the Whore of Babylon has evolved, from pagan empire to religious institution to the sprawling web of modern powers. But one element has remained constant: her symbolic function. This chapter explores Babylon not as a place, but as an enduring archetype of spiritual seduction, moral decay, and institutional corruption. She is the embodiment of a world divorced from truth, adorned in glamour but hollow within. She adapts, she survives, and above all, she deceives. We examine how literature, art, and pop culture continually reimagine her, often without naming her directly. From dystopian governments to vampiric corporations, from golden idols to televised spectacles, Babylon thrives in the symbols we consume. But what if this isn't just metaphor? What if prophecy, in its most unsettling form, reveals not what will happen, but what is happening? Over and over again, in this final reflection, we do not offer an answer, only a mirror. And in that mirror, the most terrifying possibility may emerge: that Babylon the Great was never lost. She simply changed her name.